Seventh-day Adventists take the Gospel Commission seriously. We embrace all forms of communication that will help us go and teach, especially written materials like the Bible and Sabbath school lessons. But what if the people we are trying to reach can't read? How can they continue to learn more about Jesus? How can they join others in teaching the good news? Josefa de Jesus Gonzalez, whom everyone calls Chapita, lives in Nicaragua. At age 75, she had never learned to read, yet she was an evangelist.
I evangelized by listening to the sermons, and I shared the gospel, but I couldn't read very well. The only thing I knew was the alphabet. When the literacy program began at the Adventist Church of Reparto Chic, I was 75, and I registered immediately. I told myself, this is my opportunity to study.
When Chapita was 75 years old, they began literacy classes at her church. She was the first person to register. She is now 78. She knows how to read, write, and do basic mathematics. She has a group of 100 people with whom she is studying the Bible. Adventist church leaders from Southern California recently had the opportunity to visit Nicaragua, and they met Chapita.
As we visited with her yesterday, her face just beamed as she proudly held her diploma before us. She told of the wonderful experience of being able to fulfill a lifelong dream. She now proudly holds her Bible close to her and opens and reads it every day.
Chapita's experience is shared by many other lay people throughout Nicaragua, who until recently would memorize portions of their Bible because they couldn't read it. In this war-torn country of about 6 million people, more than 30% of the population does not know how to read or write. This figure is much higher among women, the poor, and in the rural areas of the country, reaching as high as 49%. Currently, the Adventist Church has a membership of about 60,000. The illiteracy figures would mean that at least 18,000 church members in Nicaragua don't know how to read or write. These are people that have never been able to read a letter or a newspaper. They have never been able to read a Bible. Hope for Humanity, the new face of Ingathering, strives to impact human lives in places like Nicaragua. Partnering with the Adventist Church in Nicaragua, Hope for Humanity has launched a literacy program that has transformed the lives of hundreds of people, mostly women. Elder James Lee, Vice President of the Southern California Conference, says,
We wanted to see for ourselves what this was all about. And after getting here, I realized that there's no other way to explain it other than to come down and see for oneself what's happening, what the needs are, what the challenges are.
On their visit, the church leaders met with both teachers and students, gaining a better understanding not only of the literacy program, but also of the people of Nicaragua. Chapita lives right in the city of Managua. As a rule, people in the city have access to schools, if their parents or relatives can afford to let them attend. In the rural areas, the schools are not so readily available, and everybody has to work to support the family. Hope for Humanity works in the urban areas, but most of their literacy work in Nicaragua takes place in rural settings. One of these places is San Ramon, in the province of Matagalpa, where Joaida Escorcio, a 24-year-old art school graduate, is the region coordinator.
Hay zonas del país como una que visitamos a unas 3 horas.
There is a region of the country, like the one we visited about 3 hours from Managua, where almost 50% of the population is illiterate.
Elder Alfredo Lee helped there as a translator.
Around 117.
San Ramón.
In San Ramón district.
Y son 300 alumnos Matagalpa.
In Matagalpa area, 300 students.
In this area, most of the inhabitants are indigenous people who depend on their farming for survival.
We've had a very interesting trip here into this area, traveling via van over some very rough terrain that we felt we would never get here. And then after having traveled by vehicle as far as we could go, we had to then hike up to this area, Baladora. And it is a very beautiful area, very green, mountainous, almost like a paradise area.
The group of Adventist leaders from Southern California saw that the literacy programs take place in schools, in homes, during the morning, afternoon, and evening. The classes meet for 2 hours, 4 days a week. In 6 months, a person can obtain the equivalent of 3 years of school.
Those who are involved in this program do it because they love their country, they love their people. There's no pay involved. They're concerned. They want to see their citizens grow and develop and become all that they can be. And so it's a totally volunteer program. And that's what's amazing. These people dedicate hours of service to help one another learn to read. It is one of the most phenomenal things I've ever seen in my life.
By empowering the church members to help themselves and their community through the literacy program, these Southern California church leaders saw that Hope for Humanity gives the work of the church a new perspective.
You meet people as you go through these remote learning centers, and the influence that learning to read has on them and the way that they are transformed leaves images in your mind and in your heart that say, if I can just do a little bit to help make these people's lives better, it will change them so dramatically. It was just thrilling to see the wonderful work that Hope for Humanity is doing.
We have a lot to share with what we have. We have so much blessings. If we can have more Christian spirit towards these people who is also our neighbor, I think we can do a lot greater work for God.
The literacy program in Nicaragua is reaching people's needs and developing their potential through the work of the church members.
I believe the gospel has two hands. It has a left and a right hand. The right hand of the gospel is telling people about the love of Jesus Christ and his soon coming again. And that's paramount. But I think that the other hand is doing economic uplift, helping people where they are so that they can appreciate more of the Creator's design, true design for the human race, and that is all men might be literate and knowledgeable and understanding.
Hope for Humanity's literacy program in Nicaragua is helping to spread the gospel. And, perhaps even more significantly, it is helping the church members as they join the Gospel Commission to go and teach. Hope for Humanity, the new face of Ingathering.